Good evening, ladies. How are y'all? So let's do some announcements because holy moly, it's been a hot minute since I got to sit down and talk to all of you, and I'm super pumped to be here with y'all tonight. I look so rough. Today was like the longest day of my life, y'all, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it was a really long day. I think today was the most I've done in like since 2020 started. Okay, yeah, we're still in 2020. Okay, so y'all voted on the poll, and most of you guys said that you wanted to talk about the 3 legs of success and how to have a good foundation for your business in the long run, how to build a good strong foundation. So when you guys think about your business, think about a house, right? A house has to have a foundation in order for the walls to stay, the roof, everything is connected, right? So when I talk about foundation, the number one thing that really comes to mind is your why, right? Your purpose. Why are you doing the things that you do every single day? Why are you working intentionally for a certain amount of time to reach your goals? What are your goals? What motivates you to go through and work towards those goals? So I kind of want to do like a recap on that, because my why actually changed recently, which is crazy. Didn't think that was going to happen. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go over that. But whenever I ask some questions, if y'all want to just like unmute yourself and like talk, feel free. Oh, Chelsea, you put your girls to bed, girl. I know how that goes. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. Y'all, I suck with Zoom. I'm so sorry. Okay, share screen. Oh, hold on. Somebody's in the waiting room. Bruh. Hold on, I gotta change my computer preferences real quick. This is a whole thing. Okay. Okay, now it'll let me do it. Sweet. Okay, can y'all see my screen? It's just me and the hubby. Okay. Can we not? Okay. Oh, Chantel's in the waiting room. Okay. Hello, Chantel. Okay. So let me pull up my first thing. First, I wanted to talk about our why. Okay. So there's this really cool document in the workstation. You literally go to the training tab and type in why, and this is the first thing that pops up. And I read through this. I thought this was fantastic because a lot of our newer girls, right? Maybe someone on your front line that you've recently recruited or sponsored might not be there yet in their business to where they really know, okay, this is why Scentsy would be good for me, you know? And like I said, your why can change very quickly. So I will give y'all an example in a second, but let's go over this. You are here for a reason. You do have a purpose with Scentsy, okay? So really identifying why will help you focus your goals and intentions to keep you motivated through your Scentsy journey. So like I said, you might have started yesterday and decided, okay, well, you know, $50 to $100 a month extra in lieu of our family income is really all I need. That's going to serve me right now. But it could later become more, right? So, for example, when I first started Scentsy, I just wanted to make an extra $200 a month. It obviously has surpassed that. But my why was really to be able to retire my husband someday. It was very vague. It didn't have a timestamp on it or anything like that. So it's really hard to measure. So in 2022, I really focused on setting goals that were smaller and more attainable. So for instance, PRV goals. Y'all know, like I have always said, I'm not going to tell y'all to do things that I don't do. I personally struggle with PRV to the point where I don't get 2,000 every month. So I'm not preaching down y'all necks to get 2,000 every month. Yes, there's a bonus there. So that is always my goal, but consistently I'm hitting somewhere around 15 to 18 to 1900. So I'm just not there yet. But I'm setting goals that are more attainable for me, like 1,500 a month. And then if I hit 1,500 this month, I'm going to make it 1,700 next month. Last month was 18. I'm really pushing for the 2K this month. Like I'm manifesting it. We're partying. We're having conversations. It needs to happen, right? So really identifying your why. If this is something you haven't done in a while, I highly suggest you go into your workstation, find this document and reread it. Kind of follow through with the statement. So really step one is identifying your why. The example on here is I joined Scentsy because I love the products. I want to make some extra money to help pay for my daughter's dance lessons, right? But that could really turn into so much more. I mean, y'all know the opportunities are endless. Have y'all seen Morgan's paychecks? Raise your hand if you want a Morgan paycheck. Okay. Yeah. So y'all get it. So like I was saying, my why when I first started was just to make a couple extra $100 a month to eventually be able to retire my husband. Well, now my why is to be able to be a stay-at-home mom because I'm 8 weeks pregnant. So that's a thing. Yeah, so your why can literally, okay, hold on. I need a water break. That was rough. That's where I've been all day today, doing things. But I just say that to let y'all know that it's okay to like go back to this and revisit this and really think about your purpose with Scentsy. Really think about your purpose in life. I mean, in general, there is something within inside of you that pushes you to motivate yourself, because we all know motivation is bullshit, right? It's temporary. It's a temporary feeling, just like sadness or happiness or, you know, whatever. You are always evolving, always changing, always moving. So what motivates you? What makes you want to do this business? What makes you want to strive for bigger goals? And so on. So the why, that is step one. You need to know it. You need to write it down. You need to have it in your face. You need to have it tattooed on your forehead. Have it on a Post-it note. Like, have it where you can see it every single day. If it's your kids, have a picture right next to your desk. I love Courtney's new office. She has pictures of her kids everywhere. Her desk is not really the center of attention, but everything around it, right? So she has a space that motivates her. She has a space that makes her want to work. My office is a hot mess right now, so we're not going to talk about all of this because it's going in another room now because this is a nursery now. So, but yeah, revisit your why. I highly suggest that you guys go through this form and kind of just work through the questions, because again, like my why recently changed. So I'm like, okay, now I'm more like hyper focused on expanding my income a little bit because diapers ain't cheap. Okay. So let's talk about the 3 legs of success, unless any of you guys want to tune into that. Like maybe your why changed, or maybe you want to share your why. Anybody want to unmute and come chat?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So my why was I was working 70+ hours a week as a caregiver. and I was pregnant with her, and she was with my mom all the time.
I was silent.
Yep. And I never wanted to be away from these guys that much ever again. So even though I was living with my mom at the time, I have built a whole brand new life. Calm down.
She's excited.
Now I moved into my own place, but that's as much as they're gonna let me say. So
Well, no, that's perfect. That's exactly what I mean by wanting better for yourself and wanting out of a different situation. And I love your why because now it's like close to home. So I totally can relate. I never want to miss milestones. Like, it's crazy to think about because honestly, I've never really thought about it. Like I was dead set on not having kids. And then it just kind of happened. So anyway, we're not going to get emotional. Moving on. Anybody else want to share their why or share what motivates them to work their business every single day?
So I'll go.
Okay, Katie.
Hang on, I was eating a cookie, so hold on.
You're good, girl.
My why was because I had lost my job, and I promised myself that was the last job that I was going to have outside of my home. Like I was going to be my boss. I promised myself that. So, and I'm doing it for my family. So
I love that. Yes. All right. Yay! Go ahead, girl.
So my why was originally for my kids, and I needed something for myself. I joined November 2020, and I lost my other best friend in December of 2020, which was my grandpa. And then like I just fell off with Cincy for a few months, and then the community that Cincy brought me, the sisterhood, just it's been a whirlwind. Like, and I say that in a good way. Like, it's been amazing. Now, my why is just it completely changed. Yes, I still do it for my girls, and I still do it, for my family. But like, to change lives, and to see it happening, because I know I've seen it through myself, seen it through Cassidy, I've seen it through y'all girls. I don't know, it's like a relief because like I know like we all have like certain things in common. So like we may not have like all have kids or anything like that, but we all doing it for a reason, So like to see y'all wise and to see y'all succeed, it truly warms my heart.
I feel the same way. I love that. I love that so much. I was just gonna say that I was gonna piggyback off of you that we all do have things in common. Like maybe we're not all moms yet or don't plan to be, but like Tristine loves makeup. I love makeup. Makeup was my first love. If I wasn't doing Cincy, I would be doing Lime Life or pharmacy or something like that. That would have been my thing. Hold on, let me let Cass in.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love makeup too.
Yeah.
All just have like little things in common. It might not be the same thing, but we all have like little bitty things. Each and every one of us have something in common.
Absolutely. And I'm so connected with each and every one of you on this call. Like, and I have been since day one. And again, like you said, it's for different reasons. We're all on different journeys. We're all on different paths, but we can still come together at the end of the day and have a relationship outside of Cincy as well. So I am so grateful for that. So grateful for that. And so grateful for all of you. Anybody else? I see Chantel and Cass and Galaxy A32 is on. If not, that's okay. We'll move on. We're talking about our why.
I'll go.
Okay.
So my why is, my family,
and making sure that they are provided for. And what gets me motivated is you guys. Like, the community here is great. And that's why I joined. You know, I didn't want to be with the previous company that I was with, and I wanted to make a change.
I feel that.
Yes.
Because most of y'all came from the same company, right?
Yep.
We're not gonna say what it is, but yeah, I know, I understand. But you are such a blessing to all of us, and I'm so glad you're here with us too, Tristine. I just love y'all guys. Y'all gonna make me cry tonight. It's happening. Whew.
I'll go next.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Wait, who's talking?
So my why, again, is for my family. A lot of you recently know I just lost my son.
Oh,
But yeah, my why was to be a stay-at-home mom to both of my boys, since I'm now a single mom. So yeah, I was hoping to do this to be a stay-at-home mom for my boys. So
you
well,
got this, girl.
not now my boy, but
Yeah, I know. We're praying for you every single day, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
thank you. It hasn't been easy.
I know. I mean, I can't even imagine. Cannot. Look, she got all the pregnant women crying.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Okay. Would anybody else like to share?
I'll go ahead and share.
Okay. Go ahead, sister.
So I joined Sensi back in May. I've been with direct sales for about 6.5 years, maybe even 7. And my goal has always been my family. My husband busts his butt day in, day out working. And I would like it to make it a goal so he doesn't have to work every single day. Maybe he can hold a part-time job versus a full-time job. So
Yeah.
my life will always be my children and my husband to bring him home.
That's perfect, Cass. That's perfect. That's kind of what we were talking about before. I don't know if you hopped on earlier, but I guess you're gonna have to watch the replay. But yeah, and your why will change again and again and again and again, the closer and closer you get to that like ultimate goal. So yeah, you guys, again, I'm gonna cut it off here so we can move on. I'm not trying to keep y'all all night. It's already 7:30 almost. But if y'all get a moment, please go into the workstation, go under the training tab, and find this document and just redo your why. Like, write it on a piece of paper, get the whole statement out, and post it somewhere that you can see it every single day. Because like we were talking about motivation and feelings, your why should be your purpose. Your why should be your purpose as to why you do this, as to why you do anything really in life. What is important to you? What are your core values, essentially? So we will move on from that. So again, when we're talking about foundation, I really wanted to talk about the 3 legs of success. Does anyone know or has seen this before? This was created by Justin and Chloe Cox. Morgan has shared this many times. But it's so dang good. It's so dang good. Hold on one second. Let me change the view so I can see y'all. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go over this. When I'm talking foundation in your business, I'm talking your why, which essentially is kind of like the person sitting in the chair, right? If you look at the stool right here, there's a person sitting in that chair. That person is you with a purpose and your why, right? So let's talk about the 3 legs of success. Number 1, sales, PRV. Okay. Y'all know it's important in your business. And last time we had a conversation when I went live in the group last week, if you didn't see that, definitely catch the replay. But I talked about how you need to focus on your own personal business before you do start recruiting and sponsoring, because when you get to a point where you're not hitting leadership numbers, if you're sponsoring, what good is that doing you, right? Eventually, your team members are going to roll up to someone else. You're not setting the example for them. And it's really hard. It's really difficult. And it's a lot of pressure to hold a standard for everyone if you're not doing it yourself. That's why I was talking about the whole PRV thing earlier. Like, I'm just not there yet with the 2K, just not. And, you know, it could be said, whatever, like, I'm a director, I should be hitting 2K, but I'm not. And that's just the reality of it. Am I doing things consistently? Yes. Am I overshooting the 500 minimum? Absolutely, because we don't set small goals around here, okay? But like, your sales need to be in that comfort space, right? Before you even worry about sponsoring, before you even worry about coaching other team members, because how can you coach your team on something you're not doing, right? It feels yucky. It feels toxic. It feels like hypocritical, right? So really, sales, the sales portion of your business, I also look at that as your own personal business. Making sure you're having the parties, making sure you're doing events if you're in a location where you can do events. I know there's a lot of Cincy consultants where we live. There's not very many like craft shows or anything like that around here. The closest would be like 30 to 45 minutes away. Oh, hold on. So that's a little bit more difficult for me, but I will gladly bring my bag to somebody when they want to sniff something. I will gladly have the Facebook online parties. We're always talking Cincy Club. We're always talking specials, LTOs with box, right? So that is where your focus needs to be before you worry about anything else on this stool, right? Because you can't have a stool with one leg. It just don't work. That's why there's 3 legs. So number 2, sponsoring. Again, we're focusing on this once we get our PRV in check, once we have a plan to hit our goal for the month. So sponsoring, sharing the opportunity consistently with your team, or not with your team, with your network. So potential customers, your VIPs, people that are on your Facebook, people that are on your Instagram, people you know in real life, your friends, tell them to come sling some wax with you, make a couple extra $100 a month, right? Sharing lifestyles and experiences. So most of you guys are really, really good at this. Sharing what you do with your paycheck, or sharing that you use your card at the gas station, or sharing because gas ain't cheap right now. It don't matter where you live, it ain't cheap. Sharing you going to Michael's and swiping that card over there because you could do that. You bougie, right? Those are the kind of things that also fit in that. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. Thank you. Okay. Those are the kind of things that you are sharing that get people's gears turning. Like, they gain curiosity. They want to know what you're doing. So they're more likely to interact with you. They're more likely to ask questions. Okay. When you do polls on your Facebook, your Instagram, the reason I do that very frequently is because eventually somebody's going to see it 20 times and they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'm interested. And then I'm going to reach out and give them information. And they might beat around the bush for a little bit and then decide to join, but eventually they're going to join. Actually, our newest team member, Ashley, that's exactly what happened. She watched my live videos on Facebook. She would watch my stories. I had no idea she even knew who I was. And then she just joined for $25. I'm like, okay, sister, let's do this. List of 100. This is something I never did. Oh crap, we have 10 minutes. Okay, we'll get through this in 10 minutes. It's all good. The list of 100. This is something I've never done in my personal business, but I have heard that it works wonders when you actually sit down and make a list of 100 people. That list of 100 people can be people you want to party with, people you want to join, or people that you want to potentially host. So that is another way that you could really network yourself. Sponsoring and networking and parties and coaching and all of that goes hand in hand. Okay. Networking is very, very important for 1 and 2. Let's talk about coaching. So you got your PRV in check. You sponsored a new teamie. Next, you got a coach. Okay. There are systems for team members to be successful. You guys know that when I train a newbie, I use Morgan's video playlist, y'all. I use Morgan's video playlist, and I make sure they have the lead information that's in the Google Drive. That's literally it. And I coach them through their launch party. I make sure they're having a launch party for 1, because your sponsor did that for you. They help set you up for success, and your new teamees deserve that too. They deserve to have that guidance and your mentorship. Ultimately, that's why you're recruiting in the first place, to mentor your new team members, right? To give them a chance to help boost their sales in the beginning so they gain that confidence in themselves. Sometimes it takes people a really long time to believe in themselves. It took me 6 months to believe that this business was real and that I was going to do something. I literally had to promote to director in order to start believing in myself. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, but that's how my brain works. Challenging your downline to hit or exceed their goals, encouraging you guys, reaching out, frontline reach outs, one-on-ones, coaching calls, all of those things. And self-care. Self-care is the seed of the 3 legs of success. Y'all cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I will repeat that as many times as I need to so you guys get it. If you are having a day, and I mean a day from literal hell, and you don't want to look at anything on this computer, you don't want to message people because you got an attitude, you don't want to follow up with your party host today, then don't do it. Because people can feel your energy, okay? People can feel your energy. And we don't like no bad, negative, vibes over here, okay? So check yourself. If you having a day and it's just not working out for you, guess what? Nobody's going to die. There is no Cincy emergency. There is no Cincy emergency. So give yourself some grace, regroup, and do it again tomorrow. And if tomorrow's not a better day, delegate some tasks to somebody else. If you feel like you are drowning in things to do, delegate your kids to put labels on stuff for you. Delegate your friend to come over and watch the kids so you can do a training. Delegate a Saturday morning to get some things done out of the way before your kids wake up. Or before your husband's like, let's go eat breakfast. Let's go do this. Blah, 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 blah. When you just want to lay on the couch. Okay. I get it. Also a great another self-care tip there is having your boundaries in your business hours. You guys know I don't really work past 2 p.m., but I will get back to you, especially my leaders, especially my directors, within a short matter of time, just because, again, there is no Cincy emergency, but if I'm literally doing nothing, I'm a workaholic. It's just a problem. Anywho, exercise, proper nutrition, we skipping that one, but yes, that is important. Feed your brain with podcasts, books, and trainings. I pour into myself every single morning. If I do not, y'all, my brain doesn't work. I have to read a book. I have to listen to a podcast. I have to do a daily devotional. Love Sadie Robinson, by the way. This book is literally called Live on Purpose. 100 devotions for letting go of fear and following God. Y'all, if you're not doing something scary every single day, you ain't living. You are not living. If it scares the crap out of you to text 5 people and ask them to have a party, you ain't living, sister. Okay? So Step outside of your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay? That's where the magic happens. Y'all gonna hear me say that again. Self-care is also looking like spending time with your family, relaxing, resting when you need rest. Listen to your body. If you are tired, drink some water and take a nap. Okay, if you can. I know y'all are mamas, so if you can. I'm trying to get as much sleep now as I can because I know I'm never gonna get it again. So recharge by doing something that brings you joy. If you love to color, rip out a coloring page from the workstation and color with your kids. If you love to go on bike rides, go for a bike ride. If you love talking on the phone with your friends, call a friend and just have some downtime, but make sure you are recharging. Make sure you guys are taking time for yourselves, because at the end of the day, again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't pour into team members. You can't pour into your customers. You can't love on anybody if you are not feeling it. Okay. So make sure you are taking care of yourself. And there's a reason why this is the stool portion of the seat portion of the stool. You can't sit on 3 legs. I'm not gonna tell you where them poles gonna go. Okay, so you gotta take care of yourself. Okay, or you gonna end up with something up there, you know. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna share this image in the group as well, because this is such an important reminder. I have it saved on this computer now forever and ever and ever, and I'm going to look at it every single day, because these are the kind of things that really helped me in the beginning to really like focus on what I need to be doing and how to work intentionally for 3 hours on average a day. You guys, I'm only working, like actually working 3 to 5 hours a day on average. That's like nothing. Nothing. I used to work in retail. I worked in retail for 7 years, you guys. It's so hard on your body. You're literally on your feet all day long. I would work 10-hour shifts. I would have to take a lunch break. All I would want to do is sit, but then I would be tired the rest of my shift. And I never want to do that again. Which brings us back to my why. I ain't going back to work. I'm a stay-at-home mom now. That's all it is. So, definitely review this. I'm going to share these in the groups. And I want to open it up for questions because I'm going to have to stop recording. Let's see.